Study 17 Use of microphone. What do you need to do? If a microphone is used for voice amplification at your meetings, use it correctly. Why is it important? What is said will benefit others only if it can be heard clearly. Our Christian brothers and sisters spend much time and effort attending Christian meetings. If they are to benefit from what is said, they must be able to hear clearly. In the days of ancient Israel, there was no electrical sound amplification. When Moses spoke to the nation of Israel on the plains of Moab before they entered the Promised Land, how were all of those in his audience, numbering in the millions, able to hear? Moses possibly employed a system of human relays whereby his words were successively repeated by men stationed at appropriate intervals across the camp. Deuteronomy 1:31. Not long after the Israelites began their conquest of the land west of the Jordan, Joshua gathered the nation in front of Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal, evidently with the Levites in the valley that separated them. There all the people heard and responded to the divine blessings and maledictions that were presented to them. Joshua 8:33-35. It is possible that on this occasion too, human relays were used, but no doubt the excellent acoustics of the area were also helpful. About 1,500 years later, when a very great crowd gathered at the Sea of Galilee to hear Jesus, he boarded a boat, pushed away from shore, and sat down to speak to the crowd. Mark 4:1-2. Why did Jesus speak from a boat? Evidently because the human voice carries with remarkable clarity over the smooth surface of a body of water. Until early in the 20th century, the volume and clarity of a speaker's voice often determined how many in an audience could hear what was said. However, starting in the 1920s, Jehovah's servants were able to take advantage of electronic sound amplification of the human voice at their conventions. Sound equipment. Such equipment can amplify the volume of a speaker's voice many times and yet adequately maintain the quality and tone of his voice. The speaker is not required to tax his vocal cords. Listeners do not have the strain to catch what is said. Instead, they can concentrate on the message. Much has been done to make sure that good sound equipment is available at conventions and assemblies of Jehovah's Witnesses. Additionally, many kingdom halls use sound equipment to amplify the voices of those who give discourses, conduct meetings, or read from the platform. And some congregations also have microphones that are used by the audience when giving comments during meetings. If your congregation has such equipment, learn to use it well. Some basic guidelines. To use the equipment properly, keep the following points in mind. 1. The microphone should generally be about 4 to 6 inches, 10 to 15 centimeters, from your mouth. If the microphone is too close, your words may become distorted. If it is too far away, your voice will be indistinct. 2. The microphone should be in front of you, not to one side. If you move your head to the right or to the left, speak only when your face is toward the microphone. 3. Use a little more volume and intensity than you would in conversation. But there is no need to shout. The sound equipment will easily carry your voice to the farthest ones in your audience. 4. If you need to clear your throat or have the urge to cough or sneeze, be sure to turn your head away from the microphone. When giving a discourse. When you step up to the speaker's stand, a brother will ordinarily adjust the position of the microphone. Stand in a natural manner with your face toward the audience while he does that. Place your notes on the speaker's stand, and be sure that the microphone does not block your view of them. When you begin to speak, listen to how your voice sounds as it comes through the loudspeaker. Is the volume too loud, or do certain words result in popping sounds? You may need to move back an inch or two, 2.5 to 5 centimeters. When you are glancing at your notes, Remember that you should speak and read only when your face is directed toward the microphone or slightly above it, not below it. When reading from the platform, it is best to hold your Bible or other publication up so that your face is toward the audience. Since the microphone will probably be directly in front of you, you may need to hold your reading material slightly to one side. This means that your head should be slightly to the other side of the microphone. Then when you read, your voice will go directly into the microphone. Most brothers who read at the Watchtower studies stand and speak into an upright microphone. This position allows them to breathe more freely and to read with greater expressiveness. Keep in mind that the reading of the paragraphs constitutes a major part of the meeting. The benefit derived by the audience depends, in large measure, on hearing the material being read. When commenting during the meeting, if your congregation uses microphones for audience participation, remember that there is still a need to speak distinctly and with sufficient volume. When commenting, endeavor to hold your study publication or your Bible in your hand. This will enable you to see the material clearly while you are speaking into the microphone. In some congregations, brothers are assigned to take microphones to those called on to comment. If that is the case in your congregation, when you are called on, keep your hand up so that the brother handling the microphone can see where you are seated and get to you quickly. If the microphone is a handheld type, be prepared to reach for it. Do not begin your comment until the microphone is in position. When you finish your comment, return the microphone promptly. When sharing in a demonstration, using a microphone during a demonstration requires special forethought. If the microphone is mounted on a stand, you will have both hands free to manage your Bible and your notes. Using a handheld microphone may afford greater freedom of movement, but you may need to arrange for your partner to hold it. In that way your hands will be free to handle your Bible. You and your householder should practice this so that your partner knows how to hold it properly. Remember, too, that when on the platform, you should not turn your back to the audience, especially when you are speaking. In service meeting demonstrations, there may be a number of participants, and they may move around on the platform. Thus, several microphones may be required. These should be put in place in advance or made available to the participants when they go to the platform. Making sure that the microphones are in the right place at the right time takes advanced planning. Rehearsing demonstrations before they are presented offers opportunity to instruct participants on the effective use of the microphones. When a rehearsal cannot take place on the platform, it may be wise for participants to hold a small object similar in size to a microphone in order to practice proper positioning. After the demonstration, the participants should replace handheld microphones gently, being careful not to trip over cords from other microphones as they leave the platform. Our giving attention to the use of microphones is directly connected with one of the principal objectives of our meetings, namely, benefiting one another by our discussion of God's Word. Hebrews 10:24-25. By learning to use microphones effectively, we can personally contribute to this important objective. How to do it? Keep the microphone 4 to 6 inches, 10 to 15 centimeters, from your mouth. Be sure to speak only when your mouth is toward the microphone. Use a little more volume and intensity than you would in conversation. If you need to clear your throat, turn your head away from the microphone. Exercise. If microphones are used in your Kingdom Hall, take special note of how experienced speakers use both fixed and handheld microphones. Identify procedures that you desire to use or avoid, along with reasons for your conclusions.